mailing list with data. So as you can see on my screen, we're on advanced mail at the moment. So all you need to do is click on lists and contacts on the left hand side there, and then go to manage. You can then create a new list by clicking on the green circle with the plus sign in it. And then on the right hand side you'll see that there's a new mailing list, and you can just enter it in there. So we're just going to call it monthly list. Just below that you'll see that you've got the option to display the new mailing list on your subscription form. Now if you want other people to be able to sign up to this subscription form, sign up to the mailing list via the subscription form, then you might want to display it on there, remembering that the mailing list name that you choose will be displayed on the subscription form as well. So if you're going to have, you might want to make sure that it's enticing, so you might want to have his monthly newsletter or offers or different aspects like that, so people know exactly what they're going to be signing up to. At the moment I don't want this on the subscription form, so I'm just going to leave that unticked and then just click on save. So again, you'll see a green message box at the top to say that it's been successfully created, and also you'll notice that we've now got two mailing lists there. We've got the monthly list and also the My mailing list, which is the original one there. So now that's created, all I need to do is open up my Excel spreadsheet which has got data in it, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to move this Excel spreadsheet across so you can see that. Okay, so as you can see, I've got 5 different columns. We've got, the first one is email address, so we've got all of the different email addresses in there. We've then got first name, because I want to put personalization. I want to have it so it directs to the person that we are that's receiving it, so it would be Dear Jake if it was me. Then we've got the city, so I might want to send some offers or some products that are around where that person lives to get the best response. We've then got gender, and also kids, so if the person's got a family or not, obviously from that then we would change the products that we'd send to that person. Again, this information you can have as much as you want. You can have up to 25 columns within the data set, so it really doesn't matter what you've got in there. Just make sure obviously the data that you're putting into the system is going to be relevant. You're going to use it as personalization, because you don't always need to just have Dear Jake, so Dear first name as personalization. You might want to have for instance, this one we've got city, so you might want to say, Dear Jake, we realize that you're in Newcastle, so we want to send these products to you. Again, that's a bit more targeted towards that person. They know that you've taken the effort to make sure the products that you're sending are aspects and different ones that they would like. So again, as I say, you can have up to 25 columns, so please make sure that it is up to 25, no more, otherwise it won't work. So once you're happy with that, you just go to Save and then Save As. Please make sure the file name is just simple, no spaces within it, no symbols, just keep it simple like sheet with data in. Then we want to save it as a CSV, comma delimited, as you can see there. The system will import that quite easily and quickly into the system, and then from there it will go into the mailing list. So once that's been saved, just override that. Yep, that's fine. We just want to save that, and then it's just going to close it down. So back into the graphic mail account at the moment, we're in the lists and contacts section. So all we need to do now is import that data that I've just saved. So to do that, we click on lists and contacts on the left hand side here, and then we go to import. You'll notice at the top you've got 3 different options. You've got add by copy and paste or typing, import from file, and then import from online email account. So if you've got data which is in a Gmail account or something similar, then you can actually transfer that across. But as we're using an Excel spreadsheet, we're going to leave it to import from file, which is just at the top here. So once you're happy with that, just expand the import settings. Let's move that back to import from file. Expand the import settings there. And you'll notice the important section here, which is just select what mailing list and data set that you're going to import into. You can have it to always ask, which it is at the moment, but it is a good idea to make sure that you change that, just to make sure that when you apply the changes, you know that it's going to go into the mailing list that you'd like, so there's no mistake there. So I've just changed it to the monthly list, which is one that we've just created. You'll also notice that it's below, we've got import mode as always. Now you've got add, update, update only, and then add only. I would suggest that you would keep it to add and update. That means that any new contacts will be added, and also if you've got any contacts that you're adding that already exist within that mailing list, then their data will update as well. So you might have more data towards them, such as city, first name, like we had before. That just means that the data is going to update rather than using update only or add only as well. Now the other important aspect when you are importing data is to make sure that you know exactly what data set it's going into. You don't always have to use the standard data set, which is the contacts one. You can use the data set option on the left hand side here. Hopefully you'll see that highlighted. And then in there you'll be able to create a new data set. But as I say, it's always important to make sure you know where exactly it's going to be added, because you're going to use the data set for the personalization, which I'm going to show you, but also the segmentation, which again I'm going to show you as well. So once you've selected the mailing list and the data set, you've got the import mode is always add and update. Then all you need to do is click to apply the changes. Again, you should see a message box at the top here, which says the settings have been changed, just green message box. Since that's been changed, you'll notice that the only thing that we need to change now is the mobile list if we're importing telephone numbers. As I'm not, just leave that blank. So we just need to browse for the file and then update it. So sheet with data in it, and then we just need to tick to certify the box, certify that the emails are opt-in, and then just click on continue. So here we're at the mapping column stages. Again, this is important to know that you've mapped them up correctly. So the first one is the email. The next one, you just use the drop-down menu for the first, which is just down there. Next one is just, we've got city, and then we've got gender. You'll notice that I'm ticking these boxes beside it as well. The reason why I'm ticking those is that tells the system that you want that column imported. If you had a lot of data and you don't want to remove them before you import, you can import them, but then just leave them unticked, and that means that the system won't actually add them in. So this one down here is just for kids, so if you've got kids or not. Now, as I was saying before, it's important to make sure that the field that you use, you're going to recognize it at a later date. You're going to use it for personalization and different aspects like that. So you don't want it to go into a column that you're not going to remember. If there isn't a column there that you like, then you can just click on the create a new column there, and then we're just going to call this kids. So once you're happy with that, you've created those, you just click on continue. And here you'll notice you've got the preview, so you've got email, which is going to the email addresses. We've got first name, which is going into the first name here. Then we've got city, which is going into city, gender to gender, and then of course kids, which is the new column, which is going into kids. So that looks fine to me. If it was incorrect, then you can use the change column mapping button at the bottom there. Otherwise, just click on finish and it will import it for you. So again, you get a green message box at the top to say that it's been successfully imported, and also you'll get a little brief outline of what is actually being imported as well there. You've then got different buttons at the bottom here. So you've got manage contacts, which will take you back to the manage screen so you can see the mailing list, make sure they are actually imported. You've then got the import another file if you've got another section that you'd like to import, and then also back to dashboard, which is just basically back to the home. So I'm just going to click on Manage Contacts because I want to make sure that they are in the mailing list. So we can click on that, and then we can see straight away that the monthly list has got 18 people in it, and straight away the first name is being displayed, so I know that's in there. Now, as we imported more than just the first name, I'm just going to click on one of them to make sure that the rest of the data was imported. So at the top here we've got the email address, we've got the first name, we've also got the city down here, which you can see has been imported, and also the gender and kids. So now I'm happy that the data has been imported. Can now move on to segmentation, which I'm going to use the data that we've just imported to segment my mailing list, or separate it into different sections. So the people that I'm sending to or the ones that I actually want to send to. So if you're using different products, if you want to target your audience better, then segmentation is a great way to do that. So as I say, the segmentation is actually on this page here. So we'll just go to lists and contacts and then manage, and then you'll get to the mailing list. But in the middle here, we've got segmentation. So all you need to do to create one is just click on the green circle with the plus sign in it to create a new segment. This will display the options here. So at the top, we've got the data set to capture the data from. So as I was saying earlier, it's always important when you are importing data that you know what data set it's going into. So as we only have one, it's going into the contacts, so I can leave that to contacts. Also, you can see you can select what mailing list you would like it to be taken from. So you can go to monthly list. That's the one that we've imported. That's the one that we'd like to use. Otherwise, if you wanted to import from any, so use any data that matches from any mailing list, then of course you can just use the any mailing list option there. So here we've got where, and then we've got different options, different queries that we can put in. So the first one that we're going to use is where the gender. So we'll use the drop-down menu for gender, and then we can have is equal to, and then we're going to put it as male. And then we're going to tick the little box here to say that we're going to add another one. And you can use the drop down so you can have it to and or. So if you wanted to male or if they've got kids, then obviously you can then do it. But otherwise, just keep it as and then this can be another query added onto it. So the next one is going to be kids down the bottom there is equal to no. And we're going to put another one in there, which is going to be the city. So we want to make sure that the location is equal to Newcastle. So here, before we actually preview the results, we've got gender, which is equal to male. We've got kids. They haven't got any kids, so no sort of family, little kids running around, so no family packages to them. And then also we've got the city, so we want to make sure that they're in Newcastle. That being said, obviously the targeted email that we would then send to them would be focused on this that you're producing here. So once happy, just click on preview results, and that should preview the ones there. So straight away we've got 4 different people within that mailing list that we've got, and you can actually scroll along to see the different fields in there to make sure that they are correct. So we've got first name, they're all males, so that's a good sign. City, they're all Newcastle, and they're all males there in the gender, and also at the final bit there we've got kids, and they're all no. So here I'm happy with that. That's actually segmented the data for me, so it's easy as that. And then the next section we just need to create it, to save it as a segment. So we can just put it males. There's the Newcastle no kids. So the benefit to saving it as a segment, which I'll just explain now, is when you save it to a segment, you can actually send to that segment, which using the send option on the left-hand side there. Now the benefit to that is if you import any further data into the data set and also the mailing list, so you've got new people that are being added who have signed up, they give you that data, they will actually be added to the segment. So if their data matches the queries that you've used, so for example, if another email address gets added and they're a male within the Newcastle and they haven't got kids, then they would then be added at the point of send. So you're knowing if you're using a segment, then you're making sure that all of the people that's being imported are getting sent to. The other option that we've got here is you can save it to a mailing list. So you can create a mailing list and then save it to that one. Alternatively, you can actually click the little button there and then have a new mailing list created for that. So I'm just going to leave it to save the segment, and then I'm just clicking on save there. So here we've got the segment down there, so that's taken from any mailing list, and then obviously from there we can see that the males in Newcastle no kids. So when I actually go to send, at that point that person and those people that match that query will then be shown and can then be sent to. So that's just a basic outline of how the segmentation works, what different queries you can use, and essentially how you can make the email that you're sending more targeted towards your audience.